Direct from the web, it's Billy Masters Live.
And
now, please welcome your host, Billy Masters.
All right, hold on. I'm on my way. Oh, welcome to Billy Masters Live. I am your host. Where is my stupid thing? Billy Masters. Oh, look, there we're already having green screen issues. Billy Masters. That's me. And today is June 2nd, 2020. And I don't know what week of quarantine we're in. I should look these things up. I don't know. It seems like forever, but then everybody is out. So who knows? I am so excited about today's show because most of the people I've been talking to are friends or people I've admired. These are actual like family. These are people who are like inner circle. You're getting inner circle, Billy, today. But before we get to today's show, I need to tell you a few things. First, on Thursday's show, we have Frank DeCaro discussing his book about drag, and we've got, you can't even imagine, legendary drag queens are going to be here on Tuesday. We have a legendary drag queen here today, but we've got, on Thursday, we've got so many people. I don't know how we're going to actually handle Thursday's show. Next week on Tuesday, we're having a tribute to Joan Rivers, the day after Joan Rivers' birthday. And on next Thursday would have been the kickoff to LA Pride weekend. And so because there is no Pride, I mean, there's Pride, but there's not Pride celebration. And I had hosted LA Pride for 7 years, 8 years. I don't know. It seems like forever. So we're going to have a virtual LA Pride where I will be co-hosting with my perpetual co-host, Mama. And we're going to have some people behind the scenes. We're going to have some of our favorite performers here. So you can celebrate Pride here next Thursday. Oh, and this Thursday, we will also be celebrating Boston Pride because I am also still a Boston boy. And we will be joined by Sue O'Connell, owner of Bay Windows and South End News and NECN newscaster. So we've got a lot of shows coming up. The other thing I have to tell you, okay, I don't know which way I'm supposed to point. Okay, now if you're watching on YouTube, and please Facebook, if you're watching on Facebook, click on the link and go to Billy Masters TV on YouTube. Go to our channel and click on the little link that says subscribe. It's right here. Just click on it. It doesn't cost you Dizzy Queens anything, but it helps us out. So, okay. And lastly, in the announcements category, we're growing too big. Billy Masters TV, it has now become Billy Masters International. Do you know how many people are watching us overseas? I have had proposals of marriage. I've been offered a donkey. I need to see every part of that donkey. But so we're international. So what we need now, we're hiring. Well, hiring implies you're getting paid, but we're hiring a social media assistant because we're just too busy. So if you've got the skills, proven skills on social media and can help us out, please email billy@billymasters.com and we can talk and we'll figure out some sort of remuneration. Okay. This was it was a sad day yesterday, and yet it was also a happy day. People in West Hollywood, Palm Springs, Russian River, all over California and Hawaii in particular, know Irene Soderbergh, larger than life singer, cabaret singer, little pixie, whitish blonde hair. She was known as the fairy godmother of West Hollywood, of gay pride. She was a longtime survivor of AIDS. She was HIV positive. She was a great singer. We had performed together so many times at pride festivals, at pool parties. We performed once at a gay prom in West Hollywood. I have some pictures of Irene and I. That's her, in case you don't know. That's me. I'm the one behind. I know, two blondes, but she lost her battle with everything. Irene had so many problems, had been in and out of the hospital for the past few years. And yesterday we got the sad news that she passed away. And in a way, it's sad but in a way, it's also happy because she had been struggling and in pain for so long. And in a way, it's kind of fortuitous because she died on June 1st, which was the beginning of Gay Pride Month. So when I think of Irene, I just smile. I saw her last when I hosted the Studio One Back to the Backlot celebration, the last show we did at the Backlot. And we couldn't get her on stage because she was having enormous trouble walking, and it was steep stairs. Many of the performers couldn't even get on stage. And some people thought I was making a joke about Irene when about her weight. When I said, well, we would have had her on stage, but we'd have to hire a crane. It was because she couldn't walk, not because she was big. She laughed afterwards and said to me, Billy, you could call me fat too if you want. But we did have her sing very briefly, and it was a really great moment. Here we are singing together at a Bad Boys pool party in Palm Springs. Now you can tell us apart because she's the one with the pink hair. And but this was us at the gay prom. We celebrated because so many gay people never went to their prom. So Here Lounge, the now defunct Here Lounge, we did a gay prom. And she was there with me, and it was just she was somebody you could just ask to do anything. She would be there in a moment's notice, and so giving, so warm, so lovely. And Irene, you will be missed. You will never be forgotten. Okay, and also I should point out one of her best friends, Clay Adkins, who had brought her to the Back to the Backlot show. It was his birthday yesterday, and I don't know if that's good or bad that he will remember that she died on his birthday. But to all of you out there who knew and loved Irene, just do a nice little thought and maybe laugh and have a drink and salute Irene. As a matter of fact, I'll do that right now. Vodka. By the end of the show, I will be singing. Okay, I have so many guests. The first guest, which this isn't really what we're supposed to be talking about, but because it's supposed to be a fun show, but we have former mayor of West Hollywood and current city councilor John Duran here for a completely other reason that we will get to. But since there have been so many riots and demonstrations and looting and all sorts of problems in West Hollywood, I wanted to talk to him about that very briefly. So welcome, John Duran. Hey, Johnny.
Hey, Billy. Thank you for bringing up Soderbergh. Last night, the city council adjourned our meeting in her honor and memory. We lost a night in West Hollywood, and I'm so glad you paid tribute to her today.
You know, I think so many of us, particularly in the gay community, as we get older, we tend to sort of feel invisible and our contributions are forgotten. And I think it's really important for those who really paved the way for so many other people, and also were so loving and welcoming and real workers. And Irene's voice was only exceeded by the size of her heart. So we'll miss you, Irene.
My last memory of her, she and I had dinner at Café de Trois, before Café de Trois shut down. It was really nice to spend time with her. I told her I loved her. She said she loved me. And that's what I carry in my heart. So we all go back. You know, we are a family, and if we don't remember each other, who the hell else is going to? So John, you and I have been texting over the weekend about what's going on in West Hollywood, which I'm in Boston right now, but obviously, you know, I'm a resident of West Hollywood now for 22 years, and it was blocks away I'm just a few blocks from Fairfax. So I saw with kind of horror the fires, the looting, the riots going on Fairfax on Saturday night. And then I guess they took to, was it Santa Monica Boulevard on Monday night? And then Santa Monica on Sunday, and then Sunset on Monday. Yes.
What's going on?
Well, as we speak, there's a protest happening at the corner of Hollywood and Vine, which is now on the march. West Hollywood.
So they keep going north. They start at Melrose, Santa Monica, Sunset, and Hollywood.
West Hollywood has a curfew in place. We'll be instituting a curfew at 4 o'clock again today. But, you know, I think it's important we recognize a few things in this discussion. One,
Thomas Jefferson said, need to have a little rebellion every 20 years in the United States of America. It's one of the founding fathers, you know? Like this whole country was predicated on rebellion and revolution. And it's not the first time people have taken to the streets, and obviously as LGBT people, we know about the Black Cat riots in 1967, the Stonewall riots 2 years later in 1969, AB 101 veto protests, ACT UP and Queer Nation in the streets. We have been on the streets repeatedly. We're a community accustomed to that. So West Hollywood, we had to figure out a way to accommodate the protesters, their First Amendment rights, freedom to assemble, present grievances to their government about police brutality and racism, freedom to express themselves, freedom to march, and at the same time protect Boys Town and protect the Sunset Strip and all the other parts of Hollywood. And we managed to strike a balance, and we're doing that, and we'll continue to do that. It's tough. Nobody likes to have their civil liberties restricted. People aren't happy with the curfew, but I think they would be less happy with me in city government if Boys Town got torched tonight. So,
now, and that's actually, you bring up a good point, is that we have two very different things going on at the same time. Well, we really have three, because let's not forget we've got a coronavirus out there, but we've got peaceful demonstrations, and then we have riots, which to my view, and I may be wrong, you'll tell me, seem to be almost unrelated to the peaceful protests. They seem to be almost opportunistic people getting caught up in the fury and taking advantage of mayhem for their own benefit.
They're exploiting it. There are thieves, criminals, and looters who are exploiting this moment for their own personal profit. They could care less about George Floyd, care less.
They never even heard of him, right?
Police brutality. You know, those are the people that we have to deal with. So in West Hollywood right now, we brought out these big Athens dumpsters and put up barricades all throughout the city, not to keep the marchers out. The marchers can walk in and out freely. That's not a problem. But these looters, what they've been doing is pulling up in Teslas. Half the looters go in the store and grab stuff and throw it in the Tesla, and the other half drive off. Well, you can't drive off with a carload full of loot if there are physical barricades you got to pass through.
Right.
So that's how we had to deal with it.
Right. What about now? How is in particular, I guess, the damage has been done in the Fairfax area, my area, and the Grove, which I don't know. Does the Grove technically fall into West Hollywood? I don't think it does.
No, it's Los Angeles.
Okay. But what it is most of the damage. Well, and I guess Beverly Hills as well. Those are the places that have really been damaged, or there are other places that I don't know about.
Well, Hollywood, the Fairfax District, Van Nuys, Beverly Hills, Santa Monica, Long Beach have all had major amounts of damage. West Hollywood, by comparison, has had minor damage. We've had vandalism, some looting, graffiti, but for the most part, we're already painting over the graffiti. There's cleanup going on. We're dealing with it. You know, what we don't want to have happen is have it get worse. And you remember the AB 101 veto protests. I mean, for a while there, for 2 weeks, we were marching in the streets until the LAPD charged us on horseback and beat up 40 of our people. That pretty much stopped it. Hopefully, that's not the way this ends, with a violent conflict between police and protesters.
Well, and you got to remember that, again, when the police came at that point, they were peaceful protesters. They weren't looters. They weren't rioters. You know, I have a theory, which is that because, you know, this is sort of a perfect storm. We have this pandemic going on. We had just started reopening. People had been stir crazy and then getting out. And then this George Floyd thing happened that I think, and also I cannot tell you how many posts I've seen on Facebook about people saying, thank God we can get out and go to the Abbey or go to Boys Town or wherever. And I'm like, okay, that really isn't that important. In the grand scheme of things. I mean, do you think the reopening sort of precipitated this, that, you know, it just was the wrong time?
I think it's just all coincidence how it happened. We were just coming out of, you know, COVID pandemic, starting to slow reopen, and the Floyd murder just happened last week, and it ran right into this. You know, besides the pandemic and the protests, I think we have another major crisis: economic collapse. You know, 40 million Americans are unemployed, and unemployment in Los Angeles County is at 25%. That's a severe calamity as well.
Well, and these riots and protests, ironically enough, have done the opposite, is that they've made businesses that started opening shut down again, and people are back at home even more restricted than they were during the pandemic. So if they really were protesting because of the George Floyd situation, or because they're crazy, stir crazy being home, they've just hurt that at this point.
Yeah. And that's a really important distinction you're making. There's a difference between the protesters, who are absolutely in the right to take to the streets, and the thieves and the criminals who are exploiting the moment. Two separate groups of people. And I think that the ones that are exploiting, at least from what we're seeing, come from either the far left or the far right. They're either far left anarchists or far right white supremacists who are throwing themselves into the mix just to get things stirred up and try to create a race war, a race conflict. And for the most part, I think people are linking arms and avoiding those siren calls from the far left and the far right.
Yeah, I really hope that people will draw that distinction, because when you have the president talking about releasing vicious dogs, we're not doing that to peaceful protesters. This is about riots. And of course, is it Throwback Thursday already? We're letting dogs out on people?
Well, I mean, that's a dog whistle to
really is.
Probably time in American history. He also released tear gas on protesters in front of the White House.
In front of the White House.
Yeah, in front of the White House. He tear gassed peaceful protesters. Donald, read the First Amendment. He didn't read. To assemble, petition the government about grievance, express themselves, march. That is America. The president should be gassing people in the exercise of their First Amendment rights.
He's down in the bunker with an upside-down Bible. He doesn't
Good. Maybe he'll grab a copy of the Constitution, too.
Well, somebody drop it in there. Have Melanie bring it. Okay, so we're going to now shift gears and be really kind of silly. So I'm going to take, well, actually, no, I'm going to keep you here for a second, because we're going to go back now 16 years. Now, people who may not, 2004, I think it was 2004, gay marriage was not legal. And California has been through quite a roller coaster with gay marriages. You and I both know. But 2004, we were really getting close. It was at a bubbling point. And so there was a symbolic wedding ceremony at was it the Abbey?
I don't remember, but I remember the event. I don't remember where we were.
I know.
I think it was the Abbey.
I think it was, because there was a couple of years later we had the one in the park, but this was in the, because Jay Leno had come because he had made a joke on the air, so this was like his mea culpa, so he was there. And you were mayor were you mayor at the time?
I was mayor. Yeah.
Okay, you were mayor at the time, and you were presiding over the ceremony.
Yes. And I said to the audience, take the hand of the person to your left or your right. So we can.
Well, that was your first mistake.
Yeah, because he grabbed my boyfriend's hand, who was
okay. First off, I grabbed nothing, and let's clear this up once and for all. So I'm going to bring on my husband, legendary gay porn superstar Kurt Young. Hey, Kurt.
Hi.
My little husband. So just so people know, well, I got to show Kurt a photo. This is my favorite photo from that time. I didn't show you this beforehand. I had like a little porn posse. We would go out every weekend, it seemed, to a different event. This photo, I think, was taken at Will Clark's house at a Christmas party. And do you remember this picture?
Oh my God.
Oh, it just because again these are people who I love. That's Dino Phillips on our lap, and you next to me, and Kevin Kramer, who well, there's a romantic situation there too that I can't get into, but anyway, so we are all very close. We're all and again from that photo, I think people can know we're very touchy, we're very affectionate.
Yes.
So John was performing the ceremony. You were there with him. And because he went on stage and I was there, you and I were standing together. And we're very touchy with each other. You know, we were, I don't know if we were holding hands or we had our arms around each other. Do you
remember? We were already holding hands.
Okay. And so John had started this ceremony and we're looking on lovingly at everything because it was really pretty moving.
So the ceremony ended. And do you remember what the first thing that happened was? Somebody came up to us.
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Somebody came up to us with a tray of champagne.
Oh, okay.
And gave us each a glass of champagne, and they said, "Congratulations! gift bags are in that corner. Cake is in that corner." So I said, "Oh, cake," and you said,
Of champagne.
"Exactly." And so we wanted the gift bag, clearly.
Of course. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And we knew that nobody was legally married, so fuck them. And we do love each other. And so we went up to John and told him that he had just married us. His long-term boyfriend. Now, how long have you been together at this point? Right now, I mean, today, how many years?
21 years. 21 years.
True, John? Okay, I'm just checking. John, do you concur?
21 years. Yeah.
So might it have been around, let's see, this time?
Oh my God. Look at that mustache and beard on me. Wow.
Well, look, first off, look
Yeah.
how skinny we all are. We're
Yeah.
all so skinny.
We all had little tiny 30-inch waists back then. Mark probably had a 28, it looks like.
Yeah, I think so. And then just a couple years later, we're still pretty skinny, all of us.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great picture. That must be at CSW, it looks like.
I think you're right. I think you're
It
right.
is. I just got back from Missouri.
Oh, God. And then, of course, this was at an Emmy Awards. We are always together. Now, John, you had a crutch in that picture that was airbrushed out.
Why? But I love it. We all got married that day in 2004. We may as well keep me as the, justice of the peace around.
Yeah, well, and frankly, the best. I'm not quite sure. You may be the best one of us in bed. I'm not sure.
I didn't get any awards for it, right? Oh wait,
Probably have most practice.
And here is our wedding picture. We do have a wedding picture that was taken right after the ceremony. Now look how cute.
You look so happy. Look at that.
We do.
Really
He's
don't-
never looked. He's never looked that happy with you, John. Now, John, I don't know if you remember this, but there was a special performer at that ceremony. Do you remember this?
Oh my God. Was it my ex, Paula Kakis? Boom, boom, boom.
No, it was no. That really would. That's sort of more for honeymoon rather than wedding. No, we had because I found all these because if you zoom out of the wedding picture, the real picture is actually this.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
So it was the great Pepper Mashay, and since she's a good friend of ours, I invited her to come in. Hey, Pepper.
It's a reunion.
Hi.
Pepper, do you
Hi,
remember
honey.
that? Do you remember that day, Pepper?
Hi, John.
Hi, Pepper.
You know
Pepper,
what,
do you
darling?
remember that? Do you remember that wedding?
Slowly, it's. Hi, John. Hi, Kurt.
Hi.
Hi, everybody. I do remember.
And that was
was
a
a really
really
big
emotional
deal.
moment. Yeah, it really was.
For me to be invited to come and sing.
And do you remember what you sang?
I'm hearing you guys, but you're cutting out.
That's okay. We hear you perfectly.
It was Amazing Grace, hon.
Can you
hear me?
We hear you. Yep, perfectly.
Can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly. Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay.
So, do you remember? Could you sing a
It
little
was
bit of it for
Amazing
us?
Grace.
Could you sing a little for us? Can you sing it?
Would you say, Billy?
Can you sing it, Pepper?
Yes, hon.
Okay, go ahead.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see you. Was that okay?
That was fabulous, Pepper. Pepper, thank you. I think we needed that today more than
Now,
ever.
you know it's early. It's early for me. You know it's
honey, it's early
me,
for all of
Billy.
us. Pepper, I love you.
I'm
Thank you for coming.
I'm what you call a 3 o'clock singer. Thank you, baby.
I love you,
Bye,
Pepper.
John.
Thank you. Bye, my darling. I think we need that today as much as we needed it 16 years ago.
Oh, yes.
That was lovely. God, that was lovely. Of course,
You know,
Irene. You made me think about Irene. I got a little verklempt there.
Well, again, I think we've all kind of been, all of us, including Irene, including Pepper, we all sort of were part of that same movement and same time. And I'm glad for those of us who are still here, and I'm glad for those of us who went before us, because there's a lot to be learned from that, and we owe everyone a debt of gratitude, including you, John, because we need leaders, and that's very important, even if you are a husband-in-law.
I couldn't
Mark,
person to menage a trois with than you, Billy Masters.
well, I have to say that Kurt Young, first thing he asks me whenever he sees me is, where's that back alimony? and I say when there's a conjugal visit. So it's fine. Guys, I love you. Look, your family. I love you both. We've been through an awful lot. John, we thank you for keeping us safe, keeping us in the loop, being a voice of reason in a time of chaos. Kurt, I just love you. You know that. I love spending time with you guys, and I hope we're going to get to spend time with each other again really soon.
We will. We will.
We will. And John, we'll bring you back next week. We're going to celebrate LA Pride, so you can give us the mayor's proclamation.
I'd love to.
Because, whoever the mayor is right now, who cares? You're my mayor. That's all. Because you are the Honorable John J. Duran.
I am. I put my title right there, Billy.
Okay. Guys, thank you. I love you. Thanks for playing. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Bye-bye. Oh, my God. Oh, now I'm a little horny. It must be all the vodka. Okay, my next guest. This is a legendary show because really, I've said this before, without drag queens, we would have no gay community. Really, us gay boys, we just party. But it's people like our next guest who really paved the way for so many people. Lady Bunny, founder of Wigstock, and so many other things, has been involved in so many fabulous things. This is my favorite photo that she's released lately. She has teamed her background, her outfit, and her mask. And she has a special coming out this week. I think it's on Thursday or Friday. She'll tell us, but I just want to show a little trailer from her upcoming special. Take a look.
This period of social isolation has been tough on all of us. But there are some that are suffering more than most. I'm talking about sluts.
Now, sissy, that cough. I used to cough to cover the sound of my farts. Now I fart to cover the sound of my coughs. The CDC has reported that whores are immune to the virus. Whew, the First Lady is safe. Now get ready to laugh your mask off.
I adore my next guest. We first performed together at Pride Fest in New York, celebrating Stonewall 25. So, I mean, it has been 25 years and probably even longer for her. And I am thrilled to call her a friend and has paved the way for so many others that came after her, but nobody did it better. Give it up for Lady Bunny.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hi,
hello.
sweetheart. How are you?
Am I in the frame? I'm crazy.
Well,
I'm terrible.
You're a little low, but that's a lot of hair.
Okay. Right. Okay. And you know what? Thank you. I'm glad you like my picture, but I think I know the reason that you like it, because it covers half of my face with that mask.
But you know, it doesn't cover the mouth, the most important part.
It does, actually.
Well, we'll cut a little hole in your mask.
Yes. And that is for Friday night at 8 p.m.
Okay.
It's a new comedy special called Contagious. 35 minutes of my very infectious humor. And it is just when you thought that the world couldn't get any worse, here comes my act.
And where are people going to be able to see it?
Just go to Voss, VOSS events, like the water, Voss events. And I had done a couple of live streams with Bianca Del Rio and the Drag Race Girls with Brandon.
Oh,
and so, you know, there's a lot of drag queens doing different kinds of live shows on Facebook Live or on Stage It. But I like this format because you only have to do the show once, and then it can stay up there for a few days. You don't have to actually do it live. And I wanted
it lives on.
Yeah, I wanted to go into a studio and you know, have some edits and stuff in case I got something wrong. Because basically, you know, I was quarantined like everyone else, and I was sitting around writing. Am I out of the frame? I was sitting around writing silly jokes about COVID-19, and I thought, you know, I might as well use these. I'm not going to want to use them in 6 months. I hope.
Right.
I hope we're not going to be here in 6 months. And so, you know, I put this together, and you know, the hard thing about it is that I usually like to workshop material in front of live audiences, but
yeah, of
that's
course.
not going to be possible right now. And so the good part about it was that, you know, I can reach fans. You know, we don't have to be in the same venue, city, or country. And so I can reach them like that. And it's also, you know, I invested in a few lights and stuff. And so for someone who had been, you know, a few backdrops and wigs and stuff like that, and you're like, oh, really? Why didn't you wear one of those nice new wigs today? No, I'm just kidding. So, I mean, I've been kind of, you know, down in doldrums, and you know, I was back in the game, doing my thing, and you know, promoting a show, writing a show, editing a show, etc. So
I think it's great. Can you tilt the camera down slightly so we can see that gorgeous face of yours?
Oh yes, of course. Now
you're fabulous.
Now you're like, it's not that gorgeous. Tilt it back up.
No. And now get out the paper bag. No, I would never say that. I mean, so there's the link, vossevents.com.
Okay.
So now, where did you come from?
I grew up in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and moved to Atlanta for about 2 years, and then moved up to New York with RuPaul and that whole crew that for explosion in New York City, and I never left. So I've been here for, I guess, 35 years.
And how long did it take you to really become established?
It depends on what your definition of established is, because Lipsinka is a good friend, and
Yes.
even though her look has changed a little bit, basically she started drag because she knew what she wanted to do. She wanted to lip sync to vintage music, and do a very showbiz kind of a thing. I wanted to be part of the scene, dress in drag, meet guys, get drunk. I was, a big part of the scene until I started ordering Wigdock Festival. It wasn't altogether clear, what I did. I mean, like, I performed, but I didn't completely have my act together. And the Pyramid Club was, like a drag queen owned and operated club, and some of them were on heroin. So it didn't really matter if you didn't have your act together, because it was I make it sound seedy, but it was also supportive and
a little
sisterly. Oh no, it was quite seedy, but we see a lot about drag, on reality shows today, which encourages backstabbing, and that was not my experience with drag growing up. I'm not saying that every single drag queen I ever met was a total sweetheart and mentor. We didn't get jealous of gigs or whatever, but over the years, the friends. Even just they're more like want to share info, like which seamstress is going to get you your gown on time, which promoter is not going to pay you, so I mean we often compare notes, and but I get it, the backstabbing and the competition is good for ratings on reality TV, which is based on ginned up conflict.
So let me, we talk about labels a lot of time on this show. Would you call yourself a drag queen, a female impersonator, a transvestite? Is there a difference to you?
I didn't hear transsexual in there, so I must not be looking too good.
Yeah, no, Well, because I'm talking about the performance aspect, not the sex.
Didn't I shave today? Didn't I shave too close enough? You know what? I don't get into the self. I mean, I remember when the New York Times would not write about a drag queen without mentioning their real name. As if to say, we, the gray lady, is we're recognizing that even though we're writing an article about Lady Bunny or Lip Sync or whoever, that this person is actually so-and-so from Hazelhurst, Mississippi, or so-and-so. So they kind of had to have that like grounding in realism. Now, what I think is hilarious is that they did some article about me, I guess 2 years ago, and called me a trans superstar. Now, honey, I'm not transsexual.
Well, right. That's why I didn't even use that. Right.
Don't run around with, this kind of makeup. I mean, maybe some do.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I think that there is an umbrella because everyone's talking about trans, that they lump everyone together. And I think that's not true. I think there are different categories.
It's very important for for a younger generation to delineate with very special labels. Now, you and I come from a time when we were fighting against HIV or fighting against Anita Bryant, so we weren't thinking about, what every person should be called at every different time, and I'm not saying that their concerns are invalid. We just came up with different concerns. And so sometimes their concerns can seem, more confusing.
And limiting. I think that a lot of times they want to put everyone in a little box. And I've seen your box. It's not little.
They do, but you got to look at what young people are going through. There is, look at it in the context of some of these protesters, with the Black Lives Matter thing, possibly some of the looters too. What have kids, especially Black kids, what have they gotten? Like all kids have come up now through 9/11, 2 recessions. We're heading into a depression, a mortgage market that kicked 5 million peoples out of their homes.
Unemployment, racism on a presidential level.
Yes, but things have not been going well for them. I mean, the rage that has been mounting in the Black community, as we saw, verified that these are in fact harassing and killing Black people. Now, a lot of white people may have heard Black people say that this was going on before of the cell phone footage, but the cell phone footage is proof,
Right.
and they're not putting their body cameras on, all the time. So, I'm not the first to go on about privilege and da-da-da-da-da, but it is our white privilege that we don't walk outside and be scared that not only are we going to, if I'm in drag, I might be a little bit scared because sometimes that, on a good night, they might think I'm a streetwalker. Okay, that was a few years ago. But it's like, imagine that the people who were meant to protect you could actually kill you. And that's a tough cross to bear. So approve of riot or looting, and of course looting is not a way to pay back the murders that I understand. I can't say what I would do in that circumstance, because they are being, through the prison to the school to prison pipeline to unemployment, they and now cooped up for 2 months in a fucking pandemic, excuse my language, and often Black people are getting this worse. They're getting worse care, and they are getting it sometimes because they have pre-existing conditions, which they're not always getting great care for, because insurance in this country is still not affordable even after the Affordable Care.
Right.
So, I mean, I've seen a lot of people I admire, both friends and, Jennifer Lewis giving a very moving, piano tune that was written about how get your knee off of my neck.
Right.
But often these things will end with, so remember to vote out this jerk.
Right.
Okay. That's not telling the whole story, because this has been going on for decades, and the police brutality and the cell phones and all of that, all of those famous cases, Ferguson, I can't even think of the names because sadly there's too many of them. Trayvon Martin, they were all on under Obama, and our first Black, Attorney General, Eric Holder, and they made a speech. So we have saying that that all of our problems started when Trump was elected. They did not.
Yeah. It just exacerbated it. And I think people have to realize it's not just the US. It is around the world. We're seeing it, but we've heard of genocides in other countries. We've heard of hate crimes. So I don't know if you may be more hopeful than me. I'm not sure it's something you can. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's something it can get that anybody can cure. I think talking about it maybe makes it easier, and it maybe shines a light on it, but I don't think it's going to go away.
Okay, it is going to go away if we fight it, and if we act like electing Joe Biden, who does not have a good record with Black people. He wrote the 94 crime bill, which put 100,000 more cops on the streets. He was the only Democratic presidential candidate that did not support legalizing weed, which locks up a lot of Black people. Black people do. weapon is not an answer to this. It is a way to get rid of Trump, and Trump is obviously, we're not expecting racial justice from him, you know. But the people who want this, okay, I just want to say something about the looting, because, you know, I hear a lot of my friends talking about the looting and how this totally discredits the rightful protests for George Floyd. Even George Floyd's own family said, do not get out there and loot. This does not help our cause. You know, they did say that. But so I look at a lot of different news sources, and there have been some deceptive things in the media. There have been and forces instigating the peaceful protests. This has happened not just in this spate of protests, but this has happened for a while. There was a guy called Umbrella Man, and there's a video of him walking in all black, head to toe, gas mask, and an umbrella shading him. He bashes with a pipe every window in the auto zone, where I believe that was in Minneapolis, I'm not sure of the city, and then goes to a parked car. Some black kid runs over curious and says, "Are you a cop?" And the guy says, "Get away from me if you don't want to fight." And I guess gets in the car and drives off. So these windows were not broken. And now they say that this guy has been identified by his ex-wife. So did that ex-cop open the windows so people in there and steal things in AutoZone and make a protest into more of a looting kind of thing? I don't know. I mean, there's the police are saying that the guy who they're saying is Umbrella Man. You can Google Umbrella Man, it will come up. They're saying that he has an alibi and that he was working elsewhere. But this whole thing is happening because we can't always trust police, you know? And it's not just—
you can't really ever blindly trust anybody.
No, and there is a danger, because I was, you know, and you know, your other guest was mentioning that there were other incidents happening, not just the COVID-19, not just the George Floyd. There was just the Ahmaud shoot. I don't remember his last name, shooting in
who was
Georgia.
Yes.
There was Breonna Taylor, who was sleeping in Louisville and
in her house.
I mean, shot her 8 times, you know, and they were looking for a guy that wasn't even there. And, you know, I mean, there's, if you actually type in Breonna Taylor right now, the Louisville police have bought the website and have a message. So, yeah, I mean, there are insidious ways that, I mean, I saw footage of what they were calling a child militia, because some of these people holding body shields, the clear body shields, were so tiny that they looked like 12-year-olds. Now, the National Guard has come out and said, no, my mother. So she told me that down there, the churches sometimes have gun practice lessons. The churches that ought to be teaching "Thou shalt not kill." So that's the first thing I thought of when I heard child militias. So now the National Guard is saying, you know, no, those are not children. They're just, you know, one of them happens to be small. A couple of them happen to be small. And once again, we're taking the word of the people police, right. So anyway, I think we need to really look closely at where we're getting our information.
Well, moving to something lighter, not just getting information, let's talk about getting laughs, because you have always made me laugh. First off, anytime I've run into you in an event, I hear this bellowing voice, Billy Masters, and you shuffle over to me, and you really create this energy around you. Did you always have this energy, even as a boy? When you're not performing, is it just part of who you are?
Well, when you put on a costume, your adrenaline button is pushed.
Of course.
So
but it's got to be part of you, I'm sure.
No. Oh, please. I was always a ham. I was always doing the community theater. They cast me in our town when I, was college age to play like a straight baseball player. And I was like, Mama, you couldn't make anyone think you were straight throughout school. I don't think you could, because I was convinced that I wanted to be an actor, and I was like, unless you're like, like a Brad Pitt or whatever, so you don't really get to choose your roles. You don't really. I mean, you make a fortune if you get to that level, but you don't get to choose the way you do them or the way that you dress. And even though my career is on a much smaller level, I get to do all those things: choreography, costumes, writing, all of that kind of stuff. So,
so was creating Lady Bunny a way for you to perform? What was your impetus?
It was getting laid.
And I remember when I was one of the hosts of Stonewall 25, and I learned in New York that if you wanted to meet a top, pick up a drag queen. They'll fuck you with the pumps on. They don't care. And the drag queen,
not this one.
Well, all right, fine. There's always an exception.
Now, was that Stonewall 25 where they had the big thing in Central Park?
No, this was the one on the pier. This was the big Pride Fest. It was Heritage of Pride celebration. And I remember you being, it was right before the Intrepid party. And I will never forget, it was so bizarre because, I come from Boston. I knew big Pride events. To stand on that stage and look up as far as you can see and see masses of people really watching us perform and enjoying themselves. And think it was 25 years ago. I didn't realize how far we were 25 years ago. You think that today, it's all happened overnight. It's been happening for a long time.
Yes, and there's nothing like, especially, a lot of people who are older get over Pride, but when you're first seeing it for your first few years and you've just come out, that is heaven. You found your tribe, I mean, you never imagined that all of these smiling, people, were, like you when you were having those dark, scared moments, that something was wrong with you. So, even though, there are legitimate reasons to question certain, sponsors of Pride who give to Republican donors. Which is a problem. I mean, it's still important for us to be together, and sadly, those are not going to be happening this summer.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I know that a lot of people are participating in virtual prides. Are you doing anything like that?
I was approached to do a couple of things, so I'm not sure how they're working out. One was suggesting a virtual meet and greet, which sounded dreadful. So, I don't know what that was
about. But safe.
It is safe, but it just sounds like it could be awkward. But I think they're still trying to figure out. There's different groups, like putting it together. But basically the drag queen, the Pepper Mashay, with whom I'm a dear friend and love seeing on the show just a second ago. So we are the least essential workers that there are. And I found out after 9/11 that, caterers drag queens, DJs, stylists, security guards, we're toast, and even after the sickness, leaves, we are not going to see audiences packed together. We're not going to
I think that's true.
dance floors. And even, after that, when, we pray that there is a vaccine, which will ease our ability to convene, people are not going to have the money,
Right. Or take the risk still, because who knows still.
I mean, honestly, they're not going to have the money because, I don't think people are really, some people can work from home, I thought, work from home. Some girls sell used panties. Maybe I could sell used toilet paper, but, it's like, I just don't think that a lot of people are going to have money like they used to spend. And entertainment is not toilet paper. Entertainment is not, medicine. It's not rent. So I think that a lot of entertainers are going to have a very tough time for a long time coming, which is why I wanted to try doing this, contagious thing to try and get, I had to learn a few tech things. I had to get a mic.
Yeah, we've all done it. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So, this is perhaps what it's going to be for a while. And, we should probably, if what they're saying about the depression coming, I just hope those bread lines are low carb. I hope that we are steeling ourselves for the worst, and then we can be pleasantly surprised if it ends sooner, they get a vaccine sooner, the treatment works sooner, all that kind of stuff. And, speaking, I want to make sure I get this in before I forget.
Of course, honey.
We lost Larry Kramer just a few days ago, the AIDS activist who started GMH.
Wrote The Normal Heart.
Yes, and wrote the playwright as well. Now, he was cantankerous, and I believe he started GMHC, and then within a year, because of either them or him, he was gone.
Oh no!
Started
Act Up.
Yeah. Right. So, a lot of times people my age want to talk down to younger people and say, you don't know our history. You don't know, who paved your rainbow road, that gave you the freedoms to discuss whether you're non-binary or, this or that. We were worried about, dying. And I got a little angry when I saw that the New York Times wrote that he was, the first thing that they wrote was that he was abusive. And that was in the tagline, like Larry Kramer dies abusive. And there was a small outcry, and they changed it to something like, confrontational.
Right.
Here's how I want to remember Larry, who was a hero of mine. He was ready to take on the drug companies. He was ready to take on the government. Didn't matter which party, Ed Koch, Ronald Reagan. He was ready to take on Wall Street, the church. I mean, with die-ins to say, how dare you say that a condom does not, prevent the spread of AIDS, and I look at our gay movement now, and I look at these celebrity galas with straight celebrities, and I think we don't have that fight anymore, and we've got to get it back, because people think that they're political, running around saying hashtag love is love. Well, you know what? I know what that means. And I know that my love is equal to, anyone else's, but that does not have a plan attached to it. And it does not have funds. I take, issue with HRC, the Human Rights Campaign, which has backed a Republican before, which is a very corporate, organization.
And very top heavy in terms of where the money goes.
I'm liking it more. So I think that I participated last year at something that called Reclaim Pride, which was a non-corporate version of Pride in New York City. 45,000 people came to the Central Park lawn, and it was, there were performers, it wasn't any big, big names, not a big sound system, but Larry Kramer, bless his heart, in a wheelchair and as frail as he can be, had more fire and more passion than any nationally known gay leader that I can that I can name today. So we have got to get our fight back, because if you ask a lot of people, what is the gay agenda? And there are people who, like me, live in a liberal bubble of New York City.
Yeah, of course.
They don't know about the half of the states where you can get, kicked out of your home, or you can be discriminated against in getting a job, or in seeking employment. I mean, so we are still an oppressed class.
Absolutely, but I think that people like you who are performers, and comedians as well, I think that they make a big difference, because comedy and performing is very subversive. I mean, you can get your point across while entertaining people and making them laugh, and I think that is vital. And that's why I love your special. I got a bunch of clips from you, and I went over them and I went, this is vintage Bunny. And I just want to show another clip from the show. Sure. And then we got to talk about it a little bit more. Guys, take a look at, and what is the name of the special?
Contagious.
God love you. I can't say it. They'll yell at me. All right. Let me just show a little clip. Hold on.
Throat is scratchy. Can't get out of bed. Don't forget what CDC said. Out of work and credit card bills so high. Can't pay my rent. Landlord's outside. If I forget to use Lysol, I'll end up in the hospital. I'm climbing up my fucking walls. Self-isolate. Bats fly, 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 fly. Uh-oh. From Wuhan, chai. Nuh-uh, fly, 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 fly. Uh-oh. I don't want to die. Now, sissy, that cough.
Oh.
Honey, she's crazy. She is still crazy.
First off, I think that one of those caftans was from the Lainey Kazan collection. So, if she cancels on me again, could you just stand in? Would you mind?
Of course I will.
Right.
Of course I will. Honey, there's a lot of caftans because, honey, I have not been social distancing from my refrigerator, okay?
Oh, and so now at the very end, I didn't want to show this during the clip because I just think the clip is so funny. But let's talk about somebody who you kind of dedicate this show to. And I'm just going to show this. Dedicated to the great Mona Foote.
Yes.
Who I was friends with. I know you were very close to. Let's talk about Mona, because that was really pretty sudden.
It was very sudden, and it sent a clear message to the New York City nightclub world. Hey, honey, you may be younger, but you're not that young, and this is something that you can go from.
Like that. And also great shape, physically in amazing shape. It's not like, oh my God, he was like Larry Kramer. This is buff, jacked kind of guy.
Oh, totally. I honestly, I shared all the articles and contributed to them. Mm-hmm. I still haven't really been able to have that good cry because Mona was my roommate for a while.
I didn't know that.
Well, when I first moved to this apartment, I needed help with the rent because, I was moving away from RuPaul and all them. And, so we lived together and, we worked together for decades. I can say that from the times that we often ran into each other, Mona seemed to be happy throughout her life, a good person. She'd also, in addition to being a drag favorite for, decades, she had kind of put the drag on hold and became part of a group called The Ones, which had a hit single all over the world called Flawless, which was then sampled for a George Michael song. I think it was the same name, Flawless.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
So and Mona was
music was really her passion, his passion.
It was, and Mona was working on Nesham Wooden, aka Mona, was working on music.
I know he did. It was so funny because you just kind of inadvertently hit on a point, which is there are a lot of drag performers that when they're not in drag, they really want it's a separate identity, and they don't want to get it blurred up. Okay, I'm not Mona right now.
Right, exactly. And a funny story. So someone had taken a photo of all New York drag queens. We didn't sign releases, or I don't know if I was even. And Mona has kind of quit drag and has this big dance song on the radio in Europe, all over Europe. They go to England and to Europe to perform after the song is a smash hit, and there's a big bulletin board of her everywhere in drag advertising some phone service. So she hated that. Absolutely.
Well, and I remember when he worked at, oh God, where was it? Was it the Cock or the Eagle?
Barracuda.
Oh, was it Barracuda too?
He bartended for in the last 10, 15 years of his life at Barracuda.
Okay.
I mean at the Cock, but
at the Cock. That's what I thought. Okay.
Star Search,
and he was working as a boy, as himself, and people would call out to him as Mona. And I remember he would. I mean, he wasn't angry, but he would firmly correct them.
Yeah, I mean, Lip Synca is very precious about that. She likes to be known as John Epperson, so that that John Epperson is an actor playing Lip Synca. With me, I've always just been Bunny. Part of the reason is that I saw what happened when Lip Synca, insisted on that, and people were like, "Oh, girl, please," or whatever. And so with me, if I ever said, "Oh, call me John" when I'm not in drag, they would see me in drag and say, "Hey, Miss John. Hey, Lady Johnny." I mean, like anything I told them not to do, they would do. So I just gave up, and
I should mention that Lip Synca will be here on Thursday with Frank DeCaro. So we'll actually talk about that. We have lots of people. I should also tell people who will ask that you were originally going to be on with Frank, and we moved you up Tuesday because I wanted to get more buzz for the special. So because look, I know my audience. You tell them at the last minute, "Oh, I missed it. Forget it." You've got warning. You've got 3 days.
Well, I appreciate you moving it. Yes. And there is something,
you know that.
There's something there are song parodies of everyone from Madonna to Justin Bieber to Lizzo to Peggy Lee to, I mean, I know people are going to love my short and fat and sickly. The girl from Wuhan, China goes walking, and when she passes, she lifts her mask and goes. So it has something, I mean, there's drag race related humor in there too. Lots of skits. I work with a writer named Beryl Mendelbaum, a very funny Facebook personality, and we co-wrote this. So, I'm excited.
Let me ask you about Drag Race, because there had been talk at one point about the legendary drag queens like you, like the Jackie Beats, the lip sync is competing against each other and doing a series of the show focusing on legendary drag queens. Is that something you would do?
I would, of course, love to be on TV more.
That wasn't the question, Bunny. Would you compete against your peers?
Well, no, I'm not interested in competing. I'm not interested in competing. If I were, I would probably want to join. I mean, like I never did pageants.
Oh, really?
Why would I want to be on TV doing something that I never gravitated towards in real life? And, I think it's so funny that people get wrapped up, like in who the winner is and, what racial overtones the winner's race sends all this. I'm like, what are you guys talking about? The show literally doesn't have any rules or make any sense. They bring back people that have already been, chopped off of the show. They bring back contestants from other seasons of the show. It does not make any sense. So if you're getting bent out of shape over admittedly that Rue and the producers will tell you is heavily produced and silly, so, okay, I did this thing with a roast on RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars 4.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I came up out of a coffin, and I had that was the idea, is that I was dead, and the competitors were going to roast me, and then at the end, I bolt up and roast them. I thought it was a really fun episode, but here's what I don't like about reality TV. So I had all these things that I wanted to say when I popped up out of the coffin, and I was pleased with the things that they used to say, but I also said, at one point, like, oh, what was the other BS I was going to say? What something about that? Well, what if they had just used that part?
Right.
Instead of any of my zingers about Rue or the other contestants, then, I would have looked like an idiot.
Right.
Fool. And and not the kind that I want to look like and build myself as.
Well, because again, I think that drag performers in particular, and comedians as well, we're used to writing and producing and directing and performing our own show. And then you go into the realm of reality TV and all of that control is taken away, and they could just show one snippet that makes you look like an idiot.
Or if as does happen on Drag Race, they will show a queen saying something mean, and then they will cut to another queen in an interview segment saying, "I hate her," and in real life, the queen is saying, "I hate her," meaning
about somebody else. Right.
So,
yeah.
I mean, listen, we can love RuPaul's Drag Race, but we cannot pretend that that's not what it is. That's what it is.
Well, it's entertainment and it is produced, and all reality television is produced. I just want to talk one more time about the special, because I think it's really important that people tune in. Let's put the banner up again. Hold on, I got to get the banner. And if you have questions for Bunny, please text them to me, because we will
with the killer hornets and the killer
what?
Hornets, the killer hornets and the
yes.
COVID. This may be our last laugh of the apocalypse.
Oh my God! Are you saying that it's all because of you?
No, honey, I've spread many other viruses though.
Oh my God! All right, we've got so many comments coming in. Hold on, let's see.
No,
but they were all good. I think. Let's see.
They're creditors.
Rocky just says Bunny. It's all right. Hi, Rocky. Bunny.
Rocky, send your number.
I know, right? Exactly.
Billy's not the only horny person on the show.
No, but I am the only drunk one at this point.
I don't know that. Wait, Rocky is cute.
Yeah, Rocky is cute.
Oh, no,
now we got Bradley Barton. Bunny, none of you know
Brantley for years from the Pyramid Club in New York City. Brantley, hi.
Yes. Oh, I think I slept with him. I had so much sex at the Pyramid Club, I must say.
He watches your show? You must have been good.
Jerome Tenpenny. Hey, Bunny.
Oh, no. From Palm Springs with Dirty Diane. Yes. Hi, Jerome.
Oh, okay. All right. Now, Bunny, look, we're setting up a love connection. Rocky is going to DM you his phone number.
DM is
direct message. Message
on Facebook or Instagram, because I'm gonna look.
Well, I'll get it to you. Don't worry about it.
All right, now, I don't want you to have it.
Well, too bad. I am the go-between. I am the conduit. I'm like your little madam. I'm taking a cut. Okay, Jerome wants to know. He said, what's she listening to now?
Let's see. What am I listening to now? I haven't DJ'd in so long that it has been a while since I've been checking out new music. Horse Meat Disco has a new release coming out on Glitterbox. They will occasionally, work with, like, their last single was with Kathy Sledge from Sister Sledge. And this one is called Message to the People. And it is, it's a beautiful soul disco song. It's not out yet, but it's on Horse Meat Disco upcoming compilation on Glitterbox Records. I am listening to, what am I listening to? I actually got a new iPhone and they're so hateful that I can't even find a way to listen to music on it because they want to make you buy whatever on Apple Music.
I know. No, I hate them.
I mean,
all the people who are part of that I cult, I can't stand them. I don't believe in anything. Let's see. We've got
George Michael and Mary J. Blige covered Stevie Wonder's song As, and they remixed it just recently, and they've called it Always, and remixed by someone named, I guess, DJ Waze, W-A-Z-E, and they got Latrice Royale and me and Trinity Taylor, lots of other drag queens to lip sync to the video. And, besides the fact that I'm in it, it's actually a really good song. It's it's Stevie Wonder, and it's a really nice, remake. I mean, they kind of deconstructed the song for the dance floor.
Of course,
it's still beautiful chords. And
and speaking of our mutual friend Jennifer Lewis, she had been singing backup for Stevie at Aretha's funeral on that song.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yes. What were the chances Jennifer Lewis would not perform at Aretha Franklin's funeral?
That I am such a big fan of Jennifer Lewis. I can't even.
She's the best. Ryan Rafferty, our mutual friend Ryan Rafferty, says he can't wait to be back at the Monster with you. Oh, me too. Please.
Me too. I DJ at a disco tea dance, and I miss seeing you too, Ryan.
Ryan, we love you. And also Ryan's a good friend of Jennifer's as well. So thank you, Ryan, for watching and texting us. Anyone else? We are in the last minutes, 2 minutes left. So, and Jerome said, thank you for the tip, and he will check it out.
Check it out. And you know what? The Monster as New York eases back into reopening, I'm told that on weekends they're selling drinks out of the window.
No, what is it? New Orleans all of a sudden?
No, with like a but there's a park. I guess you could take it across, and there's a little security guard. But
you're going to be arrested. Don't do that, people.
No,
drinking on the street. No, you'll be arrested.
Right, you're drinking right now.
Well, I am, but I'm at home.
Party pooper.
Is Stanley has passed away, hasn't he?
Who is
Stanley? Who used to play the piano at Monster? Stanley.
Oh, that insane drag that would have the dildo.
Yes, I got the bat right. Yeah. Oh, it's fabulous.
Oh, I love that. Was the gayest thing ever. I loved.
Oh God, I know. We're old. God, we're old, but we look good. Okay, and Steve Masterson says, Bunny, how do you keep looking so young and fabulous, Steve?
By appearing next to Billy.
Fuck you, Bunny. I've got, it's funny when I was looking for pictures with Kurt Young, and I found so many compromising positions of you and I in elevators. I don't remember when we were in an elevator. Was it the Gay VNs in San Francisco, maybe?
If it was an elevator at the Gay VN, I know one thing, I was going down. Okay.
And I would have let you, I must say.
Down.
Buddy, I love you. I just want to remind people, I'm going to put it up again. VossEvents.com. The special contagious, I said the C word on TV, drops on Friday. What time does it drop, honey?
8 p.m. Eastern time on VossEvents.com. And a couple people, you might want to get there a little bit early. I mean, no, the thing that I like about this is that if you don't see it Friday, it's going to be up for a few days. So
And God knows, not only is the special going to be up, you're going to be up for a very long time, because I love you. You have paved the way for so many people. As a little gay boy, you were one of those people that was also so inclusive of me as a young performer. And
well, you had
kind.
drugs. You had drugs.
Well, I did. That's true. And a huge cock. But, whatever. You use what you have.
Do it.
It was you and Gerlina. I will never forget. Oh my God.
You gotta call her Lena now because she's trans. But I want to tell you something.
Yes, honey.
I have always enjoyed reading your columns, and I thought that they were the best mix of, like people like me and Candy Ass,
everybody,
and people like Cheetah Rivera, or Liza Minnelli,
or Patti LuPone, right?
Like a current recording artist mixed in there, along with like the very craziest, from the club scene. And I just always thought it had a great, mix. And I'm glad you invited me on your show. And this is probably the longest that we've ever talked that we'll remember.
Right. Well, I remember you and I were in Florida, in Fort Lauderdale, maybe a year or two ago, and I just happened to be down there, and I saw you were performing, and in the middle of the show you stopped everything to run over to me, and we're sitting there talking, and everyone's looking at us like, isn't there a show going on? So we love each other. We pick up right where we left off. And I will mention, still writing the columns out every Monday, billymasters.com. There are no gay papers. So it's not in a paper, but you can still see it online. And I hope we're going to get back to normal. I do. I hope that you'll be back out performing and spinning. And
I was never normal.
Well, we got our normal.
Yeah.
I love you. I've always
loved
you
too, darling.
And thank you for coming on. Everybody go to vossevents.com. There it is one more time, vossevents.com, Friday night, 8:00 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Or watch it afterwards, whenever you want to watch it. Bunny, come back anytime, please. And keep us informed with what's going on in New York, because I really worry. Love you. Bye, sweetheart.
I will, dear.
Bye. And I want to thank everybody. Oh my God, I'm looking at my Kurt Young is still watching us. Hi, Kurt. You can wave. I'm watching you. There you go. He's waving. Hold on. Look, he's got a tank top on now. Hi, honey. He's got a tank top on. Hi. All right. So you didn't get to talk very much earlier. How are you? Are you look? Well, now you're showing some skin.
Well, it's hot. It's hot out here.
Do you remember when we met? Do you? I don't remember when we met.
I was thinking about that this morning too. It's like I don't remember how we met at all.
I don't either.
Like the Bad Boys pool party, or was it Cocktails with the Stars at Mickey's?
Yeah, but I think it's even earlier than then. And I will tell one quick story that I didn't tell earlier. Okay. When John was running for city council the first time, the time that wasn't successful. Okay. Oh, see, I love you taking off clothes. So when he ran the first time, we had an organizational meeting at the athletic club. Do you remember that day? And Kevin Kramer, who I didn't know at the time, this is a terrible story, but we had gotten paired together to go door to door. Picture me and Kevin Kramer going up to people's doors, and him with the full-length fur coat. And so Kevin was living in the Valley, I think. But he was volunteering, and I was living in West Hollywood. So Kevin Kramer and I became domestic partners so he could vote in West Hollywood. Yes, I am the face of voter fraud.
It's all for a good cause.
Well, I think because people see us out a lot and they see us playing or kissing or, just drinking or having fun. But we've also been involved in some really serious events.
Oh, yes, definitely.
You volunteered a lot. Was it Project Angel Food that you volunteered for? Who did you volunteer for?
AIDS Life Cycle.
Oh, right. You even didn't you do the ride from San Francisco to LA?
Did it 1 year. I think the 7th ride, I want to say. So, the longest one.
He's in far better shape than I am. He's also slightly younger than I am, which of course, is for just a little bit. We had John here, so we couldn't be quite as intimate as we typically are. But I don't remember, but you may have been one of the first porn stars I met. You're certainly the one I was the closest to, and because you and I just connected as real people. And
Right.
If I were going to marry anyone, I would marry you in a second.
And I would marry you.
We can get rid of John. It's fine.
He served his purpose.
Exactly. He married us, and now get out of here. Thank you for coming on the show today. I know you usually don't do these things, and I know you it's not your favorite thing to do. Although there is a camera pointed at your bed, so I really think old habits die hard. Let me ask you this, because people are going to ask me. Porn career. Favorite co-star?
Favorite co-star? Steve Cannon.
Really?
That was my favorite scene. From
Least favorite scene.
Least favorite scene. It was with Big or Image, and I don't know the guys' names. There's 2 straight guys from Germany. They didn't speak English. And
why do they have to? Okay, and and let me just ask this, since I have you here, and we're just going to end in a few minutes. But how did you get started in gay porn? Have you ever told us?
Yeah, I was told. I got through Matthew Easton, my first boyfriend. He couldn't get a job when we moved out here, and he answered an ad with Johnny Johnston, and came back a couple days later with a big check, and I was working all the time. Like, I had 3 jobs at the time. I was working like 5 a.m. till 10. And so I went and met him, and then it kind of snowballed.
Was it fun? Did you enjoy the career?
Oh, yes. I mean, I absolutely enjoyed it. And it was important for me to do, because I was very shy and very, very introverted, and I just needed help kind of getting out and being like a gay person, being me.
Well, you were young, too.
I was 22, 23.
I think. You
right out of college.
You looked really young. You looked younger.
Well, I was younger.
But you looked younger than 22, 23. I mean, you really did look like 18. Like, you were a lot of people's, ideal. Really? Which, obviously, that's what you're selling.
Yes.
Not saying you're selling yourself. Oh, okay, we have a question for you. Okay. Rocky Duran wants to know, did you ever work with Alex Wilcox?
I did not, but I knew him. Nice guy. I never worked with him.
Knew him as well. Is he still with us?
That I don't know.
That'd
be a Dino question.
Yeah, right. So we also should mention, because we mentioned Dino Phillips earlier. Dino, as Kurt refers to him, Dino is the historian of our group. Yes. I apparently am the photographer, but but I was drunk most of the time, I will admit. One of those pictures where I actually had abs, like I wasn't eating. I mean, God, I miss not eating. I really, well, no, I don't miss not eating. I miss abs.
Me too. They're a lot of work. A lot of work.
Really are. Last week I had those 3 boys from Bravo, Scott Nevins, Emerson Collins, and Blake McIver. And I said, the 3 of them, I'm looking at them, and I said, collectively, they have half my body fat. It's just not fair. But anyway. And you also were teaching spinning, so you were doing a lot back then.
Oh yeah, that point in time, yes, I was. Well, it depends on which year it was. At one point, I was teaching like as many as 4 classes a day sometimes.
Oh my God! Yes, I know, because that really cut into our social life. You would say, "I've got a class at 6 a.m. I can't be out," and I'd say, "Fuck that class."
I'd still go out, and still make it to the class.
Look, we used to do a lot of things on 2 hours sleep.
Right.
Anyway, was there another question? Oh, just somebody else is just saying how much they love you. A lot of people, and of course, Jeff Scott saying great show. So we've talked about our anniversary many times, and it was June 1st, 2004. And couldn't have been married to a better person. And the cake was pretty good, and so was the champagne. I think you got the gift bag, so that's all right. That's fine.
I think we both got one.
Split it? Oh,
I think we spent too much time at the cake table.
I think that you know me pretty well. That's certainly what I do. Anyway, thank you for being on. I've been watching you. So while Bunny was talking, I'm watching you walk around the room. I went, oh, good. If he stays there, I'll have him back. So thank you for doing this. I'll talk to you. I'll give you a call later.
Okay.
Okay. I love you.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye. Guys, thank you for watching Billy Masters Live. Do not forget upcoming shows. Frank Tucaro on Thursday with Lip Synca and Simply Barbara, Steve Brinberg, and who else is on? Oh my God, and the legendary Jimmy James. So we've got a trio of legendary drag performers for us. Next week on Tuesday, Joan Rivers tribute show with Jackie Beat and Frank Marino and some other special guests. Next Thursday, LA Pride, Virtual Pride. And please, if you're watching on YouTube and if you're watching on Facebook, just click on the link. Go to YouTube and click on this little button right here. And it says Billy subscribe. Click on it, subscribe. It costs you nothing. It helps us out. All right. Oh my God. And other people are texting me. I don't know. I will talk to you people later. Thank you all for watching. And just remember, we will see you Thursday at 3 p.m. And take care of yourselves. Please stay safe. And just remember, if we're here, we're live. Bye, guys.